Did you know that 50% of your viewers abandon your video within the first 30 seconds?
You probably figured that your audience has a short attention span, but what most creators don't realize is that their video intros might actually be chasing their audience away even faster. Research shows that there's a scientifically tested perfect length for video intros, and when creators hit the sweet spot, their video performance increases significantly. So in this video, we'll reveal exactly how long your video intro should be down to the second, and how this tiny tweak can help you retain viewers and grow your channel faster.
And we'll uncover why your intro is a double-edged sword. Done right and it's your branding secret weapon. Done wrong and it's a retention killer. And we'll finally clear up the confusion around what a hook, a bumper, and an intro even are, and where the term bumper even came from. Hint, it wasn't from YouTube.
Okay, so let's start by clarifying these terms. What's the difference between a hook, an intro, and a bumper? A hook is the one that is very mandatory, and this is what it sounds like. You've got to hook your viewers in. And this is something that needs to happen within the first few seconds, and you really want to prioritize the first 30 seconds of every video. This is one of the key metrics for growth on YouTube and its audience retention. It's so important that YouTube puts it right in your face on every single one of your video's analytics. And it will tell you what percentage of your viewers are still watching your video at the 30-second mark. So for this reason, if you can keep the people who click on your video, who make the decision to watch your video, if you can keep them hooked and watching for longer than 30 seconds, YouTube will absolutely show your video and suggest your video to more people. The other most important metric is what I mentioned. Did they make the decision to click? That's called click-through rate, and whether or not they clicked on your thumbnail when they saw it among all of the other thumbnails and titles that they see on YouTube. So there are a ton of strategies for good hooks. And in fact, I should make a whole separate video just about a good hook. But mainly here, what you want to do is to position your video, or to angle your video, or package your video in a way that is interesting, that sparks curiosity, and that promises some big payoff. So people really have to stick around until the end to see what's going to happen, to have the big reveal. There's a ton of psychological tricks and tips that you can put into play here. There's the curiosity loop, the contrarian difference between two big things. What's the difference between this thing that costs $10 and this thing that costs $10,000? The other things that can work really well in hooks are cliffhangers. You see this illustrated perfectly with the Diary of the CEO style of a podcast trailer. If you're going to do a really long format video like a podcast, then it's really important maybe to preview or have these little hooks or segments of people revealing really juicy details, but right before they get to the end, you cut it off and you make a cliffhanger. It's a little bit more difficult in terms of the editing, and sometimes keeping it simple is the best way to go. So that's a hook. And really, you're talking a couple sentences here, and then follow and beef up those couple sentences with some more juicy details, cliffhangers, and a reason for people to keep watching your video. Now, an intro is one of those words that you could use to describe a hook. It's also a word that is used to describe hooks and is also used to describe bumpers. But when we refer to an intro, what we're really talking about is the video intro. And this will usually come after the bumper. So you'll have a hook, you hook people in, and then you have your little bumper, your little 5-second or 10-second max kind of animated channel bumper. And then after that bumper, you'll have your actual video intro. And that's where you provide a little more context. And an intro is a really great place to include a roadmap. Kind of give your viewers an idea of what they can expect in the video. So you're further reinforcing their decision to stick around, and you're giving them some more juicy details. I like to pack in some quick wins right from the beginning into an intro. And then another technique that can work really well in an intro in terms of providing a roadmap is what I like to call the progressive reveal. And this is where perhaps you show 5 or 6 steps that you're going to cover, but you don't actually show the steps. You just reveal the first one, but you leave the other 4 steps kind of blurred out in some graphical or cool, creative, editorial way.
I don't know why I make this face.
And then finally, that brings us to a bumper. Why do they call it a bumper? Don't worry, I'm going to get to that.
And what does he mean, scientifically perfect length for a bumper?
We're going to get to that too. If you're going to include them in your videos, you want to keep them very short. Now, there's use cases where you can stretch your bumper to about 15 seconds max. And I'll be giving you an example of that here in a moment also. So bumpers can be extremely valuable, and they could really be a branding secret weapon. Take, for example, the TED Talks bumper. It's about a 3-second bumper that just shows a really cool logo of TED. Who's TED? I don't know. It's memorable, it sets a nice tone, and it speaks of authority and quality. So that's what a bumper can do for you. It can give you this sense of professionalism and authority. Now, a good bumper can also increase engagement and brand consistency, and it can also increase audience retention. But if it's too long, if it doesn't really fit the vibe of your show, if it's kind of obnoxious, or maybe the music is too jarring or loud, then it can actually hurt audience retention and chase people away. A bumper can also help to set the tone and establish a title or set a mood right off the bat. And then perhaps the main use for a bumper is brand recall, is sort of programming your brand and your logo and your colors into your audience's brain. The other technique that top creators use in their bumpers is to build authority by showing themselves maybe behind the scenes footage of them in a Ferrari or on a private jet, or building their muscles, or doing something that is part of their brand. Maybe they're cooking or showing their professionalism, showing their authority. And it can be so quick. You're looking at 3 seconds. You can have a ton of footage, flashy sort of slideshow style animations, and really give off the sense of who you are, what your brand stands for, and the value that they're gonna get listening to you, and why they care that it's you that's going to be delivering this information. Okay, so where does this term bumper even come from? This term actually dates back to the world of broadcasting way before YouTube was even a thing. And bumpers were actually little 3-second clips that were inserted before and after advertisements, literally bumping into the advertisements. These 3-second little clips typically included the show name or the brand name to sort of reestablish the connection for the audience that this is the show you're watching again after the advertisements. I know, trivia is so fun. Give me a thumbs up for the trivia. And before we get into looking at some solutions for how you can quickly create your own bumper, let's talk about the scientifically backed evidence of what the perfect bumper length actually is. So there have been multiple audience retention studies and also a ton of YouTube experts that have weighed in on this, creating serious statistical data that suggests that the perfect bumper length is between 3 and 5 seconds, erring on the side of even shorter. If you can get a bumper to 2 to 3 seconds, if you can create a bumper that's that short, you're in the right place. My favorite way to do this is to just think about a little drum beat, like a and that's all you get. Anything that you can pack into that, it would be perfect. And as I mentioned, there are use cases and certain shows that afford a longer bumper or a longer sort of intro piece. Of course, we're all used to some really long, drawn-out bumpers, you could say, or intro pieces on our favorite Netflix shows. And we get some amazing artists designing some incredible intros for us there. But these same audience studies show that the more times a person watches your content, the more times they see your bumper, the less patient they get with it. In fact, this is the reason for the skip intro button on our favorite Netflix shows. But hey, let's take a look at the easiest and the free way to create your own immediate bumper. Whoa! Ow! I bumped into the thing!
He thinks he's so funny, but he's not. He's just a bumper. He's a real bumper.
Hey, sorry to interrupt, but trust me, this is worth it. If you're looking to build a pro-level video podcast studio without all the guesswork and complicated gear decisions, meet our brand new Studio Blueprint Builder. We're talking about an interactive drag and drop tool that helps you map out your exact room dimensions and customize our ready-made Canva templates to fit your space perfectly. We'll guide you through the best camera, lighting, and microphone choices for your unique layout, complete with curated Amazon links so you can shop confidently without the guesswork. This is the exact process we use to set up studios for top-tier shows, and now you can do it too. So what do you say? You ready to build your studio? Head over to pss.media/shop and build your dream studio. Let's get you looking and sounding pro. All right, now back to the show. All right, so the easiest and best place to start if you're looking for a quick DIY free bumper is Canva. And if you already have a subscription to Canva Pro, which you really should, it's kind of a must for content creators, then you're good to go. You can either say create design here or just click where it says video. And from video, we can choose YouTube video landscape. And then right off the bat, we have these amazing templates. Let's type in bumper and see what comes up. A bunch of templates for bumpers. Bump up. What's great about Canva is you also have the stock audio that you can use. You have photos and videos that you can use for your bumpers as well. And there's already a bunch of really cool templates you can look through. One place I like to start is to find the audio first. And I just like to look for drums and something that's just very quick. Look, this is 11 seconds. This one's 8 seconds. Okay, that's a 6-second clip, which is a great little length for a bumper. So I'm just gonna grab this snare drum beat right here, and when I click on it, it drags it right into my project for me. And now I can stretch this out to the full 6 seconds, and maybe something like that. So now I have a good idea of the music. which is cool. And I can now go back along the left-hand side and pop up to where it says design and find some type of bumper that I like a lot. Let's see, this one's really cool, has a few different options for me. I could use maybe a couple of these different options. And of course you can change the colors and the fonts and everything to your brand colors and your fonts. But if I click on this one right here, just to show you, it took up the 5 seconds right there. I can click on a new page and make a new page and do this one. And instead of Olivia Wilson here, I can say Steven Bossman. And then I can find from my own uploads a picture of myself if I have one. And let's say my channel's all about reviewing creative equipment and gear, which it is. By the way, I'm Steven, and if you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, come back and hang out with me every Wednesday. We unpack and look at the best creative media tools so you can level up your content. So make sure to subscribe and come hang out with me, Holmes. But I'll take this picture of me and drag it in there. You can now move it around and resize it. Let's make it kind of bigger and move it up like this. That looks pretty cool. Has these awesome animations going on. Of course, I can change the colors to my brand colors if I wanted. I could change the color of this circle frame that's around me to a yellow color that's around my brand color as well. Here, I could do that same thing, kind of adjust things. Here, I could say, get creative, home slice.
The kids got to bring back the home slice, man. Tubular.
Okay, but now we need to fit both of these into this little 5 seconds, 6 seconds that we made. So I'm gonna bring this back like this. So if you drag down into this video area here on Canva, you'll actually get this little universal trim icon, and we can now trim this piece down. And look, now they both sort of slide into place. And now what we have is a really quick moving, fast bumper. Let's take a look. Interesting. It sort of revealed me right at that piece. And this just sort of illustrates how easy and how quickly I was able to do this. Seriously, in a matter of a couple minutes. Of course, I would spend a lot more time. I would probably make it even more dynamic. And did you know there's actually places that you could rent a private jet for photo shoot purposes? The jet never actually takes off and flies you anywhere, but you could get photos of you entering and leaving the jet, and you can get photos of you actually flying on the private jet. While you're at it, maybe rent a Lamborghini. That way you could get some behind the scenes footage and all the people will think that you own your own private jet, homie. You could also pretend that you give TED Talks, and you could also purchase YouTube plaques like the play button that we just got for hitting 100,000 subscribers. You can purchase those and they'll even engrave them for you. So now we're going to take it up a notch, and I want to explore the more professional route of creating your own bumper. And I want you to entertain the idea of looking at some of these more complicated applications before you freak out. It's After Effects, Adobe After Effects. And I know you're like, no way, that is way too complicated, but you don't actually have to be an animator and have all these amazing animation skills to be able to get cooking in After Effects, especially when you use pre-made templates. And there's a really cool place that you can get pre-made templates, and that's Envato.
Let's hop over there and check it out.
But first I need a snack. Okay, so once you have your high protein, keto friendly, gluten-free, grain-free, wheat-free, totally delicious, naturally flavored, childlike treat for grown-ups, then you're ready to look through your templates in Envato. So I'm going to filter by After Effects video templates by clicking on video templates and choosing After Effects. You can also look for Premiere Pro, and hey, look, they have some for Final Cut Pro and also DaVinci Resolve. I really like the After Effects ones. In fact, I think they're the most easy, the most customizable to drag your own media in place of the placeholders they have. So now you can simply search for video intro, and you can see there's already a bunch of templates that pop up. And this is really just a process of getting creative and kind of imagining what you have in mind with all of the pictures and videos and assets that you've gathered, as well as brand fonts and colors and the vibe that you have in mind. Also, if you've picked out a music track, that can really help to inspire this process as well. And we simply just scroll through here and find a few templates that we like. Now, with my experience with the Envato templates, it's a good idea to find at least 3 that you like and get those downloaded. My experience with the Envato templates in After Effects is you're not really going to know if it's going to be the right fit for your vision until you get it in there and start playing with it and seeing how it works. And when you find one you like, you can click on this icon that appears when you hover over the one you like, and it will add it to your collection, and you can create any number of collections. So for me, I'm working on the Free Her podcast. Then when you found a small handful of ones you like, in the top right corner, you can click on your name and choose My Collections. And here are my 3 different collections that I have on my account. I'll click into this Free Her collection, and now I have the 7 contenders that I have in mind for this project. So now my workflow is to choose my favorite, download just that one, open it in After Effects, throw in all my assets and my media to see if it works, and rinse and repeat that process until I have 1 or 2 video intros that I'm really into. When I'm working with a client or on an exciting project like Freeher, I like to provide at least 2 or 3 options for the client to choose from. So I'm gonna go ahead and choose this first one here. And when you download, you can also create a new project that will hold all of your downloads. This can also help you with the licensing stuff. And here we go, it's downloading. Once it downloads, we'll pop over into After Effects and I will crush any hesitations or false beliefs you have that After Effects is way too complicated for you. Now, After Effects is capable of doing very crazy animation designs, yes, at a high professional level. But with these templates on Envato, anyone with 0 editing experience can get in there and start simply replacing placeholder images. And you'll see these templates wind up being very magic, very accessible for all of us. Okay, so let's go ahead and download this short intro here, and I'll start building an actual client's project. So I'm gonna put it in the client's name, the project folder that I've created, say add and download, and it will download here. The download's really quick, then you can extract the file. And when you do, you can open it up. And this is very similar to what you will see with any of the After Effects templates from Envato. And there's usually always a help or a tutorial video. And these videos will show you exactly how to add your own photos and your own text and things to the placeholders that already exist. So really, this is very similar to Canva Pro. If you've been using Canva Pro, you just have to get in here and don't be intimidated by all the bells and whistles and buttons that After Effects has. Just start making sense of things. And there's a place that says placeholder or put your photo here or put your image here. And you'll notice that there's a timeline in After Effects. And see, this walks you through exactly how to do it. So then all you have to do is open up the After Effects file right here, and it will open up After Effects. And it'll say some things to you like, hey, we don't have the font. And that's all right, because you can actually replace and change the font later to your own font that you like, which is usually something I do anyway. And then you could just start scrolling through this timeline by grabbing the playhead here and getting an idea of what this is all about. And then if you come up here to this section here, the project panel is what it's called, you will see, oh, I've got scenes, scene 1 through 6, and it corresponds with these scenes down here in my timeline. You can also click on the scenes down here in the timeline, and it opens up each individual scene. Over here in your sort of program or composition window where you can see everything that's happening, here where it says 100%, from the drop-down menu, I like to choose fit, and then that fits everything into the timeline. So now when we scroll left to right, we see just this first scene, which again, if we click now on these tabs up here, we'll see all of the scenes, and to the very left, we see one that says render, which is telling us, hey, when you're all finished adding your own placeholders and messing around with this design, then you can render it from here. So again, up here where it says scene 1, then there's a folder that says edit placeholder. And when I click into placeholder 1, it actually brings me to the place where I can drag and drop my own photo in here. So to illustrate that, I'll just grab whatever photo I find, the very first photo that I see. And here you could also drag in videos. So I could drag in this video here of me on the swings, or just the empty swings it looks like. And now if I go back to render, you will see the place in scene 1 where it has now inserted that photo of the swing sets. So I'm gonna throw this into time lapse real quick and watch me create an amazing bumper for my client, Andrea James from the Freeher movement. And this specific client project is one that is a perfect example where a longer bumper would be more appropriate. And that's because this project has some serious weight to it. It's a very important social cause and a movement that our client is trying to create. And so there's a lot of storytelling that we can pack into the intro or into the bumper. And also it's very common when you're first getting your podcast and your show off the ground to have a somewhat longer intro at first to sort of establish that story and to kind of bring the audience into who you are and what your story and what your show's all about. Also, longer format content like hour-long or 45-minute long podcast episodes, your audience will usually be a little bit more tolerant for a longer intro or a longer bumper. But it's always a good idea not to start your video with your intro. Do a hook first, then throw in your intro or your bumper, and then actually do more of an episode intro, give a roadmap of the episode, and then get into the beef.
I will say to you, could you stand for me? Everybody deserves to be free.
Okay, so since you're getting all wacky and crazy and creative with editing and you're using Canva Pro and you're thinking about using After Effects, check out this video that I just did last week where we jump into Canva Pro and we look at how to animate photos and turn any still photo you want into a really cool video. You're not gonna wanna miss it, homie.